Join me in part 4 of Stranger Things and Witches, Baba Yaga and Tasha. Quick recap: after watching Stranger Things finale of season 5, Muted to the Dark Side of the Moon album by Pink Floyd and Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie, but it works. It syncs up correctly. Both hinted at magical properties of Max, Kali, and Elle. Now we know Kali and Elle are quite magical, but Max was a surprise. And so I looked a little further, deeper into that, and we got ourselves to the Scottish play, which then got us deeper into looking at Hecate, Norse mythology, the Norns. But now we're bringing it to Russia, Baba Yaga. In DnD, Baba Yaga is known as the mother of witches, of all witches. In Russia, she is known as a type of witch, a grandmother, old woman, the Baba part. And then the Yaga is wicked or snake or horror. She is known in DnD and Russian lore, Slavic lore, Eastern European lore, for living in a hut that actually moves around on chicken legs. In D&D, Baba Yaga adopts a child, a human child that she names Natasha. Goes by Tasha. Also goes by Igvil. Also goes by Zelbina. Tasha is considered the witch queen. She rises up quickly in the ranks of wizards, of archmages. She is best known for writing the Denomenomicon, her cauldron of everything, that allows her to freeze everyone within a 1,000-foot radius. Also, she's known for her great spell, the Hideous Laughter. Throughout her life, she lived in different places and went by different names, adopting a new identity, a new look, but still, being that smart, savvy, dangerous witch. She had some time in the city of Greyhawk, where she pretended to be not so knowledgeable, not such a powerful sorcerer or spellcaster. And she learned and she studied, and she was a quick study. She created her own domain of delight called Prismere, where she ruled from the Palace of Heart's Desire. She had 3 other sisters, another sister as well, but these 3 sisters, they were wicked, did not like her, and were plotting against her, and ended up trapping her in her own Prismere. And they divided that Prismere into 3 parts, one for each of them. She had a very long love and hate relationship with the demon prince, Grazit, known as the Dark Prince. Now, it could seem like I'm just spitting a lot of random facts at you, but it will be brought back to Stranger Things. You just hold on one second. Bringing it all back to the picture that got me into Conformity Gate. What that is a prism. Some more facts about Tasha, Zelbilna. She would send a version of herself from the past before she became the witch or Igvil. Let me just say what I'm trying to say. I believe Robin is Tasha. I believe she's Igvil. I think she's Zelbilna. I think that the Robin we saw in the epilogue has a hideous laughter. Now let's go back to the prism. That picture that got me into Conformity Gate, it led me down a rabbit hole that made me realize that the dark side of the moon syncs up, does a dark side of the rainbow effect with the finale. And it highlights Robin as a sinister character. It more specifically uses the part of the track, the evil laughter in The Dark Side of the Moon, to Robin being on the radio in the epilogue. Also, what's framed is Robin's face with the pine tree right after a shot of Henry. That evil laughter is also paired with Henry and with Dr. K. The hideous laughter does it for me. When Tasha moved to the city of Greyhawk as a teen, she wrote a magic tome called Lore of Subtle Communication. Radios. Knowing lots of languages, perhaps. The lore of subtle communication-based magic such as ventriloquism, message, comprehend languages, and legend lore. Now there's a part where I said earlier in the video that Tasha, Igvil, Selbina is able to project different versions of herself. Essentially, she's a time traveler, just not in the way that you would expect. And this goes back to my theory of Robin being Holly, of Holly being Miss Harris, of these three chicks being the same person. Why? Because when Robin was with Will and they saw the spiral and things slowed down, her language, her enunciation slowed down, it mirrored Miss Harris exactly as well. Also, when Will was looking at Derek and connecting the dots and he's hearing Miss Harris speak slowly. And then we have Robin with the who and Holly who. Are we pointing at Tasha, Natasha, Zelbina? She actually has like 9 names, I think. She is known to be having different looks. She's a pretty cute young little thing and also an old crone because she's been alive for mad long. And as we get through by the end of episode 8 of season 5, Robin's looking real haggard. She's looking real rough. Could it be perhaps she's tired from doing this time loop over and over again, all her different selves? I don't know. Now the tricky part is Grazit, because we know Robin to be a lesbian. Yes, sure. And Tasha has had some dalliances, like with Isolde. So, you know, not sapphic, although Robin's saying strictly womanly, you know. But Grazit, Dark Prince, makes me think of when Steve bit the bat. A scene they've since changed. When I first watched Steve getting bitten up by bats, it didn't show him biting the bat. It was just Eddie saying, hey, you're like Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, for biting that bat. But now, why did they go back and edit and add Steve actually biting the bat? Perhaps they wanted us to notice this scene. Perhaps it's important that we know he is the prince. I don't think it's too far off to have them go from enemies to friends, Steve and Robin, and have that be a parallel to Tasha and Graz being enemies to lovers, back to enemies, back to lovers. You know? Tasha also has a sword that fights dragons specifically. Robin got an earring with a sword, and then she got that little dinosaur, but we can call that a dragon just for simplicity. Now, if Steve is the Prince of Darkness, there is an argument to be said, like, hey, why aren't we checking out Nancy to see if she is Tasha? Well, we've run out of time, so I can't tell you quite sure what that would be, what that would look like. But I can perhaps in the next part 6. Stay tuned.